Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Project Workbench. Today, I have with me Ewan, who is a fellow collector of props, costumes, all kinds of good stuff. So Ewan, I understand you're working on a new project right now. Let's start off with that. What is it you are making?
I am, yeah. So, like I think most people in the world, I went to see the Avengers and absolutely loved it. And so I've been starting work on a Loki costume from that. I thought that it was a really cool evolution from where he was at in Thor. And yeah, I'm really excited to kind of dive into the challenge of like making all those different bits and pieces.
Now, what are you a fan of that character, or was it just the costume that captivated you? What was it that got you heading down that path?
Kind of both. I think, yeah, he's definitely kind of like a character that I like a lot. There's also an element of casting. I don't know if you can tell from the camera adding several pounds, but I'm kind of a slight gentleman despite my height.
Oh wait, you mean you are slight?
Yes.
I thought you meant you're only a bit of a gentleman.
I'm slightly a gentleman.
Slightly. I see what you. Okay.
No, I'm not Thor sized.
I see.
Neither am I Tony Stark sized, and Loki seemed like very good casting.
Okay, so it's a good casting choice for you, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
absolutely.
You and where I think you really broke new ground on sort of pushing costuming to the level of perfection and beyond, if that's possible, is with the Doctor Who stuff.
Oh, awesome.
You are clearly a fan of Doctor Who.
Yes.
What got you headed down that sort of path to I must be awesome at Doctor Who? Why not just get a tweed jacket and bow ties? They sell them at Target.
They do, and you know what? For a budget costume, that'll do you okay. But I mean, I think like I, like you, strive for a certain level of perfection in the costumes that we're gonna do, because I know that if I start a costume kind of half-assed, like using kind of stuff that's pretty close, you know, it's kind of cheap, and you know, if I start a costume that way, I know I'm just gonna redo it.
Okay.
it's you know, I'm gonna get at least halfway through, if not finished, and then be disappointed that it doesn't look close enough to the original.
That's actually a common theme in these
Yes.
interviews. I've heard a lot of people say that same type of stuff. So are you saying that rather than do sort of a half-assed version and then build up to, you'd rather just target initially that final perfect version?
I think there's kind of two ways of looking at it. One is kind of like banging out kind of a cheaper version and kind of seeing what needs to be kind of like dialed in and really improved in your final one before you start with the expensive materials. Or you know, I think it's the constant upgrades. So I've had costumes like that where I've done like one version and be like, oh, that was kind of cool, but I feel like I could probably you know, improve on that. Like case in point was like I did an Obi-Wan Jedi costume a while ago where the first iteration was a karate jacket that had been stained in tea, and some tabars I'd made out of some scrap fabric I found in the back of the closet, and you know, some costume boots. Done. Job's a good one. From there, I was kind of like, you know, it's okay. So went to Joann's, found out about that. Found out they kind of had like some slightly nubby, like Jedi-looking fabric, and you know, kind of built a second version. Was really pleased with that. But then a bit later, kind of like got into the costuming forums, like found out like, actually people were really taking this seriously, really getting this stuff dialed in, and from there it was like, oh, I had to learn how to make a belt, and like, you know, do all that stuff, and then like, oh, track down the exact right fabric, make sure I'm like making the costume right, oh, is there a seam there? Okay, I can't have a seam there in mine, like, it has to be perfect. You know, just kind of going from that. So like, rather than go through like 2 years of kind of upgrading like every 6 months, I kind of want to like get it like as dialed in as possible, because like I just know if I cut corners, I'm gonna come back and do it again.
Gotcha. Now, you were talking a lot about the different skills you had to learn, things you had to do. Tell me, like when you started, for example, on that Obi-Wan costume, did you not know how to sew at all? Were you brand new?
I had no idea. No, I had to get my wife to teach me 3 things that she knows about sewing.
Okay,
and then from there was a lot of just kind of like learning as I went.
The Loki costume has a lot more going on in it than the Obi-Wan costume did. There's all kinds of different materials, there's soft parts, there's hard parts, there's the helmet. Like, do you feel going into the Loki project that you're ready to tackle, like, do you know how to sew leather? Do you know how to do that weird trim along the leather? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks for reminding me about all that stuff.
Sorry.
You know, like I just need to get dived into these projects, and you know, because I feel like if I don't, then you know, you can spend like days, months, years worrying about that stuff, and you know, if you want to do it, just do it. Like,
so you
buy the
jump
stuff,
in.
work it out. Yeah.
All right, good.